Welcome, 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 Rudger. How
Hey,
are you? Now, am I saying your name right? Let's just get that out of the way. Rudger. Hello? Oh, can you hear me?
can you hear me?
I
There
can
we
hear
go.
you. There we go. Did I say it right?
You did, yes, you did.
Okay, Rutger. So, let me just let you know that welcome to the Zuri Wine Tasting Wine Studio virtually. I wish that you could be here in person. Maybe that'll happen one day. And we are on Facebook Live. So, I like to record it so that I can post it on my YouTube channel. And then also, we're on Facebook Live just because I know that there might be some people who have questions about wine during this whole alcohol ban. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me just take a deep
Oh, thank you.
because I'm super excited. It's been a minute. I've been trying to connect with you and have conversations with you about wine, like really long conversations with you about wine for some time now. So I'm super excited that this is finally working out. Yes. So
Yeah.
let me give a brief introduction. My best. I'm going to try my best to get this right. Okay. So Rutger is a winemaker here in South Africa. He makes wine, or he has his own wine brand called Stark Conde and also Kara Wines. He was part of the Cape Winemakers protégée program, and he's just pretty freaking awesome. I will let him do the honors and tell you a little bit more about himself. But did I get that right, or did I mess something up?
Well, I wish Stark Conde was my wine estate. That is one of my biggest wishes, but I'm only the winemaker, unfortunately. Yeah, the rest of the other information is 100% correct. Although so I have my personal brand called Kara Tara. So yeah, hopefully one day it will have its own piece of land that I can call my own and put my flag on, you know?
All right. Well, you know what? We are manifesting it. All right. So we are manifesting it. I believe that 2021 is the year of manifestation. So whatever you say is going to happen, is going to happen. So he's going to have his own wine farm, and we're going to go to his wine farm and take it over when the Zuri Wine Tribe comes. All right. So I'm putting it in the universe.
Yeah.
We're going to have a home to go to and just take over, act like it's our own tasting room. And I'm super excited about it. All right, so Rutger, can you, first of all, how are you? Congratulations, happy wine day. I'm super excited that the ban is lifted and we can buy and sell wine freely without turning our own selves into criminals. I was literally trying to get wine on the black market. I was like, oh my God. I mean, it was ridiculous, right? So I'm super excited that the world is
Yeah.
now and we can drink.
Yeah, it's great. I think it's really positive news. Look, I think I was probably the most popular person walking around in the streets at the moment, and everyone is looking for wine from myself and my family. So I think I could have traded a few different things with wine because people were so desperate. Yeah, that's really good that we can start selling wine and start just enjoying life again with a bit of
Yeah.
flavor and spice.
Yeah, my new hashtag or motto is let wait um let booze boost the economy, or yeah, something like that. I have a really cute way of saying it, but let's let the booze boost the economy because the economy suffered so much just because it's like a
Yeah.
ripple effect, right? So you can't sell wine, and then the restaurants aren't as busy as they usually are, so then they have to lay off staff and they can't order as many supplies. So everybody, from the person who works in the restaurant to the person who sells tomatoes to the restaurant, everybody was affected by this whole alcohol ban. And trust me, I'm not making a judgment on if it was the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do. I understand the reasons behind it, but I'm just happy that we can drink now. Let's just talk about more about you though. So tell me about yourself, how you got started. I have so many questions, but I mean, first I would like for the people to know exactly who you are, how you got started in this wine journey.
Yeah, look, for those of you on Facebook and on YouTube that don't know me, I am Rudger Van Wyk, and I'm the winemaker at Stark Conde Wines based in Stellenbosch, which is for me probably the most famous South African region globally. Um, yeah, I'm probably first generation winemaker from my family. I was raised by my parents, which is two teachers. Um, And the closest thing to wine was probably vegetables and cattle where I grew up. So that's on the south coast of South Africa. Beautiful part in George called the Garden Route. I don't know if you've been there.
Not yet, not yet. I want to go there. So yeah, now that the road has opened up a little bit more, maybe I'll have a chance to take that drive, or I can find a date who will take me on that drive through the garden route.
Yeah, I probably think it's quite similar to Santa Barbara, on the West Coast.
Yeah, I think it's probably similar, like if you were going to drive from LA all the way up to like Paso Robles, and you can pass through some beautiful landscapes and things like that, and it's right on the ocean. That's how it is in LA. But you were right about Stellenbosch being like the most popular wine region in South Africa. I kind of say that Stellenbosch is like Napa Valley. So it's just as fancy, it's just as, delicious as Napa Valley. And how did you get started? Or did you always want to be a winemaker? Like when you were growing up, were you like, hey, I want to, enter this wine world? Or when did it change? Or when did it happen for you?
Well, I don't think it probably wasn't my first choice. I think every South African boy probably wants to play rugby or professional rugby or for the Springboks, our national team. I think sport is a big thing. It was a big thing in my family. It was just a way to get together and a way to bond with all the guys and the men. And obviously, if you're like a small boy, you want to be like your dad or your hero and just sit around the fire or barbecue and watch some rugby. And I think that probably played a massive role, because I think in our culture, wine probably per se wasn't the most famous thing, or how can I say it, but I think spirits was playing a role. And I think with all the family gatherings and the parties, alcohol was always around. The negative thing being maybe sometimes in the community, alcohol was abused. So I think from my perspective, winemaking sounded pretty cool. It was something out of the box. It was something new to do for my culture. I think my mother still doesn't understand what I'm doing, and she's still like, antichrist, like against winemaking. But at the end of the day, it pays my bills and it puts my kid through school. So I think she's probably got used to that. After school, I was really into sports. After school, I went to the University of Stellenbosch to obtain my winemaking degree. And
slow down for a second. So you went to, what made you choose winemaking? Because there's so many things, engineering, accounting, what made you say winemaking?
Yeah, so I think my personality, I'd like to be upstream. I like to do some things that isn't the same as the person sitting next to me. My thoughts is a bit different. The way things work in my head is a bit different compared to anyone else, I would believe. And I think engineering and being a doctor and lawyer, with all respect to those jobs, I thought that there's probably a lot of other guys that want to do that, and sometimes they don't really look happy, and they only look happy when they have like wine in their glass.
Right.
So I thought like, winemaking is going to be super cool. I think I'm going to be really popular, and people for wine all around me, and I'm going to bathe in wine one day. So I thought, well, let's go and do that. Let's see what happens. That's why I'm sitting here today. I'm quite fortunate, actually. Like I said, especially with this whole lockdown, I became even like 100 times more popular.
Right.
Yeah.
So listen, I know that I worked harvest for 3 weeks, right? And I know that winemaking, it seems glamorous before you actually become a winemaker, right? It seems like it's a very glamorous, career, but it's a lot of hard work. And so, can you just talk a little bit about, okay, you went to University of Stellenbosch, you studied winemaking, but then when did the Cape Winemakers Guild come into play? How did that happen? Because aren't you a prodigy of theirs, or is that correct? I thought I read that somewhere.
Yeah, so that's also an interesting story. I think I got a bursary or scholarship if I can call it that, I think for my final year, which the Cape Winemakers Guild paid for, which I'm really grateful for. And that gave me the opportunity to go for an interview to become part of this whole protégée program. Look, it's really how can I say, your grades have to be up, and you have to go for an interview. So it's not like you just, fall into the whole thing or stumble into the whole thing. So it's quite a prestigious thing that is, the Cape Winemakers Guild Protégé program. Also, was saying that they give us a massive opportunity to, broaden our knowledge of winemaking. And actually, I think my love and passion actually just grew in those 2 years that I was there. The program is 3 years. We'll probably get to that story a bit later on. And in my 2 years, you get to mingle with, I believe, some of the best winemakers in South Africa and even the world. The Melanius, the Beerslaws,
Yes.
the Bardenos, all those guys. They have massive knowledge and experience, and just really nice, funky personalities that just makes the whole winemaking and the harvest, like you said, that hard work really enjoyable. And that passion grew in my heart, and yeah, we just went on carrying on with. I worked at Kanonkop, which is probably one of South Africa's, Grand Crus, which we'll probably say historically it makes really good wine. It's making great wine, world-class wine now even. And in my second year, I went to in.The, which is in Durbanville, just to get a bit of a different experience, like cool climate, concentrating mainly on Sauvignon Blanc and white wines. And yeah, in that year, I had the opportunity actually through the Cape Winemakers Guild to go to Burgundy in 2015. And that was even really mind-blowing, amazing.
How long were you in Burgundy for?
So Burgundy, I think I was in Burgundy for 6 weeks, and then I had the opportunity to tour the different French wine regions 1 week per region. So, 1 week in Champagne, 1 week in Rhone, 1 week in Bordeaux. So yeah,
amazing,
right?
amazing time, right? Oh my goodness, pretty amazing time. And that was through the Cape Winemakers Guild. That whole tour of Europe. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, when you went to Europe, did you fall in love with wine even more so? Like, did you fall in love with the process, with the lifestyle, the culture, even more just being in Europe? Did it kind of like connect a couple dots for you or anything?
Yeah, it was a massive experience. I think words can't probably explain that experience. Wine is such a big cultural thing for them. Like, it's crazy if you believe that. Like, I think for us, wine is just seen as a elixir or a liquid, but for them, it's something of a spiritual background in a way where some of it was made by monks, and just the history, like walking on the soil there, like 2,000 years back, and yeah, it was really eye-opening. Look, I ate a lot of cheese, so my experience of cheese was amazing because I grew to love cheese, French cheese a lot.
Yes.
French and baguettes and yeah, Nutella. I thought I ate so much in France, but with the harvest, I didn't pick up a lot of weight, which was really great.
But you know what? That's the thing about French. French people eat a lot of food, but they're not really overweight usually. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know why you can eat so much in French, and it just seems like you just don't gain weight. Yeah.
We need that recipe, right? Like what's going on?
Yeah. I definitely need that recipe in my life. Such an exciting time. And so then you come back to South Africa. Like, I mean, there's so many questions that I have for you that I don't even know where to start. And you talked a little bit about like how in France, wine is part of the culture, right? And it's a positive part of the culture. It's totally opposite than in South Africa, where wine is looked upon as a negative part of the culture. Historically, there's been some things that have happened that haven't been like really supportive of the lifestyle and the culture. But do you see, or do you have any ideas of how we can change it so that in South Africa, wine, because for me, wine is culture. That's what I tell people all the time. It's not just about me just drinking wine. I don't drink wine to get drunk. I drink wine for the experience, the people that you hang around, the food, and all this. Can
Yeah.
you maybe, do you have any ideas of how we can change that in South Africa so that it's looked upon more as a cultural experience and not just, you know, something that a tool that people use to get drunk?
Yeah, look, I think that's a really complex question, and I will give you my view of that. I think there's a few factors. I think the economy should grow stronger. With that happening, I think education is probably the key of the word. I think Mandela always, talked about education, education, education. Whether it's education in different fields, people, graduating, getting their degree, just being uplifted through their ethics. I think if you can just lift up people with 8 or 10% with their wages, people's experiences would be a little bit different. There would be a little bit more money for education, and just that middle market of people or salaries that makes a massive or plays a big role when it comes to drinking wine, and people's view would change. Um, just making it fun. I think a lot of people in South Africa sees wine as, this Western thing or European thing where you only have money when you drink wine, where it's totally not the case. I think, like you said, it's culture. It's about having great food, great company. I think I've created some of my best memories, around a glass of wine or
Yeah.
even a bottle of wine.
And have some of the best conversations around a bottle of wine, right? Like, really.
Yeah, it probably just relaxes you at the end of the day. Like, you have your best meetings when you have a glass of wine, because then people speak the truth, if you understand what I mean. Like,
Yeah,
sometimes hold back.
I
and wine is like
definitely,
this truth bomb.
I definitely agree. I mean, I definitely have some of the same ideas that you have about, boosting the economy and closing the gap so that the people who have and the people who have not, it's not too big. Like, and I'm just going to send that message to all the people that have, share some of the wealth. I mean, literally share some of the wealth. Like, I think about that all the time, even myself, because, my housekeeper, sometimes I'll go out to dinner or lunch and I'm like, man, what I spent on one meal is what I pay her for a day's labor, which is not,
Yeah.
I don't pay her a whole day. I pay her by the hour. But like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, and some people it is a whole day. So like you kind of have to think about that. So I'm just sending that message to all the people who, try to share the wealth, because that's the only way that the economy will change. But I'll get off my soapbox. Um, Let's talk more about you and your whole winemaking. Like, what's your winemaking philosophy? Do you have a favorite grape to work with? Do you have a favorite style of wine that you like to make? Um,
Yeah, look, I think um, it probably looks in that way, but I think I still consider myself as being really young and still really young in my field. Like, I think there's so much um, things that I still have to learn that only comes with experience and the years that you put in. For me, I've probably been in the industry for 7 years only. So there's still a lot of things that I have to learn. I think just coming culturally, like in South Africa, we love food, we like spice, we like to balance life. And that's my whole winemaking philosophy. It's about balance, it's about flavor, it's about enjoyment. I think I consider myself as being quite fortunate, to make a product that comes from the soil that people can enjoy, that they can celebrate, that they can just remember. I think there's every person that likes wine has that one wine moment where they're like, oh, I had this specific bottle we'll never forget. And that's the whole package that I have. Favorite grapes, I like to work with different things. I like challenges. Um, so it's a broad knowledge of different cultivars. At Stark Conde, we specifically focus on Cabernet Sauvignon. I think that is quite unique and it grows really well, specifically in Stellenbosch. I think that's where Cabernet is known for, or Stellenbosch is known for good Cabernet Sauvignon. And then we have things like, you know, Sauvignon Blanc, and that's Mediterranean varietals. And that's also something maybe that people should focus on, like with global warming, like these varietals are just starting to pick up and trending, and some of the growers are starting to look at those varietals and planting them. So yeah, it's a mixed bag. It's for me, every harvest and every wine should be something of passion and celebration and enjoyment. And why I chose this industry is there's no better feeling when someone comes to you and tells you, wow, that bottle of wine that you made was so delicious, like we enjoyed it. It's like cooking a plate for your, you know, your friends or your family, your loved one, where they just tell you like, ah, it was amazing. That just warms my.
I love it. I definitely agree with that. I couldn't imagine being a winemaker and just having my bottles all over the world, because Stark Conde is distributed literally all over the world. I know when I host some wine tastings, and I'm always trying to promote South African wines, and so your wine is always on the list. So if you're in America and you're watching, you can go to your grocery store, to your wine store. You can find their wines. Look online, try to find a distributor that's in your area, because Stark Conde is definitely in the U.S. Can you talk a little bit about, oh gosh, I had a question before I went on that tangent. Just about like making wine at harvest. Thank you so much, first of all, for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know it's harvest season, to talk to me. Have you guys started picking yet, or where are you in the harvest process right now?
Yeah, so actually we're a week, well, 2 or 3 weeks later than the past 5 years. But I think historically, that's probably our picking time. So yeah, I think that for now I have some time to spare and talk to you. So yeah, thanks for that. I think we're probably going to start next week with a Chenin Blanc, which has me really excited, because literally as we're speaking now, in an hour's time, they're delivering some new amphora, which is also,
oh, wow.
You know, it's the first time I'm going to start work with it this year. So I'm really excited about it.
And that's the clay pots, right? The clay.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, and just for you, I know exactly what it is, and I got excited because I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds delicious. But for you people who are just novice wine drinkers and you might not know, amphora is the big clay pot. So you can store your wine in stainless steel, oak barrels, or concrete, or these beautiful clay pots. So will this be your first time having them at Stark Conde, or did you guys have them before?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, okay. There we go.
Yes. I just asked.
Can you just repeat that question, please?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, is this your first time working with amphora, or did you guys have them before at Stark?
Hello? There we go. Sorry for that.
It's okay. I just hope we don't have load shedding all of a sudden. That would be disastrous. Uh-oh, I think he might have froze. There we go. So I just wanted to know, had you used the clay pots before, or is this the brand new first time you guys will be using them?
Oh, it's brand new, first time, really excited. South African clay. So yeah, I can't wait to just get stuck into harvest and experience what these clay pots can bring. I mean, it's just about asking around and experiencing a new vessel to ferment in. And like I said, like I like new challenges and to see what different stuff and different ferments can do in wine. So yeah, looking forward to that.
I can't wait. I'm going to come work a couple of days of harvest with you, all right?
You're welcome. You're more than welcome.
Yes. I mean, I'm a good worker too. I know it's a lot of hard work, but yeah, that's how I can lose a nice 15 pounds just working harvest for like a week. It's so much work, man.
Yeah, hopefully you had a few bottles of wine to enjoy while you were working so hard. So I think they say and some beers. It takes a lot.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, after being around all those grapes all day, like, the last thing I wanted was wine. And I understood now why people drink beer after, like, working harvest all day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still crazy. Like, sometimes when you have a lot of time to spare, I sit down and then, like I said, like, the wine world has happened so fast to me. Like, I can still picture myself like sitting down in class in varsity university, and it was always my dream to work in Stellenbosch, especially like in a state where I am now, and it literally happened. So every day I count my blessings, you know, and
Yes.
things just happen full circle, and you have to work like something is chasing you. Like, yeah, I'm just so blessed to be in Stellenbosch and do what I do.
Well, you kind of just answered my next question, because I was going to say to you, like, you know, I know that there's a lot of people who look like we, a lot of people who are like black and brown people, colored people, black people who don't know where they should start or what they should do in the wine industry. And like, what advice would you give them if somebody was like, hey, I want to start in the wine industry, but you know what, I'm a little intimidated, I don't know what to do. And, you know, and not just start as like a tasting room, you know, worker, or not just start, picking grapes, but if they wanted like a professional career in the wine industry, what kind of advice would you give them?
Yeah, there's a lot that you can do in the industry, and that's why this whole lockdown was so crazy. Is that whole value chain that literally just shut down. You know, it's everything from the grape picker to someone that makes the wine to someone that distributes the wine, the tasting room people, marketing team,
Somebody who makes the corks,
someone who makes corks,
makes
someone who
the
makes
label.
barrels, someone
Yeah.
who makes bottles. You know, there's so many things. And for me, that's really interesting is when you're a winemaker, it's not that you're just a winemaker. You have to be the marketer. You have to tell the story. You have to interact with people, do tastings with them. There's the financial aspect behind that too. So there's so many things in the industry, the financial part that I really don't like, but it probably plays a massive role. I think all winemakers, when they have those finance or the accountants and coming to your office and talking about that, everyone's like,
Yeah.
it's them again. So yeah, just start by tasting wine. I think at the end of the day, if you break down everything and make it simple, I think a bottle of wine gets all of us in the industry, gets all of us really excited. And if you ask a lot of people that's in the industry, it's just like, why are you doing this? And they would say, because I love wine, you know?
Yeah.
Who does?
Yep. I agree 100%. Can you talk a little bit about your own brand, the Kara Tara wine brand?
Yeah, so Kara Tara, I started in 2017. I had the opportunity to do a joint venture with my boss here at Stark Conde, and we started a company where I make two wines. One is a Pinot Noir and one is Chardonnay. And it's basically from my passion and what I've learned from a stint in Burgundy. And I always believe, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, Cabernet Sauvignon is the noble varietals. It will always be king and queen of all the wines in the world. You sometimes have trending varietals in the world, like your Grenaches and your Cinsaults and Zinfandel, but they will never topple the king and the queen. It's
Yeah.
always been there through generations, and it probably will stay there for a few more generations. So at Stark Conde, our speciality is Cabernet Sauvignon, and I thought, well, let's try and make a brand where everything is focused on everything I just explained to you. It's about enjoyability. It's about drinkability. Sometimes wines can become too commercial, and sometimes you don't enjoy it. I think everyone experienced that before. And everything is so serious. Like I said, like it's about balancing the books. It's about, making money and profit and paper. And I wanted to break it down and just start over and create something where everything is based on passion. It's based on finding different vineyard sites all across South Africa that's really special and incorporating that into one wine. And that's what I do with Kara Tara. So the Pinot Noir, I work with 3 or 4 different vineyard sites all across the Cape now, cool climate sites. And the Chardonnay, we're working with 3 different vineyard sites, which is really special. We have really good growers here in South Africa that their passion is growing grapes. And I want to portray that in my wine. And at the end of the day, again, people should come to me and say, wow, this is so delicious.
I can't wait to taste it.
Yeah, and I just wanted to make wine more approachable for the middle class or people of my culture, you know, to make, not go with a traditional label, just to make something nice, colorful and funky. And I want it to be really multi-generational, you know, people from all over the globe that can drink it, all ages. And it shouldn't let anyone feel out of place when they're surrounded by that wine.
Does the name mean anything, Kara Tara?
Yeah, so Kara Tara is, so the focus is like also exporting this wine. And I wanted to show the world from where I am from, which is the South Coast. So it's a small village right outside of George called Kara Tara. And it's a small community. The name is actually from, you know, the indigenous Khoisan, which I am also, that's in my bloodline. So I want to show a little bit of my culture and my heritage. And in their language, it literally means deep dark shadows, which is nice and, you know, mystical and like.
It means, wait, what? It means eat dog shadows?
Deep dark shadows, which is, it refers to like the river that flows through that village there. So people know fish, and the river is really dark, so they never could see the fish like swimming underneath. And yeah, I thought, oh, that probably has a nice, cool ring to it, and people can experience my culture and my story and where I'm from. It literally has a cool back label at the back, which shows you the area and the grapes area where I grow from.
I love it. I mean, I love it when people bring so much of their own culture into the wine. And that's to me what it's all about. I'm going to try to see if I can find the label right now.
Yeah.
Very cool. And so yeah. Can you buy that? Where can you buy that? If you're in South Africa, where can you buy it?
Look, so the focus is on, I want people to come to Stark Conde. I think it's a really beautiful estate. I'm still waiting for you to give you a tour.
You know, people now that the world is open, I am gonna grab some friends and I am gonna come down and come taste. Yes, now that the world is open,
please come out.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So you can definitely
before you get too busy with harvest.
Yeah. So you can definitely find it on the estate. It's on the Stark Conde website. I'm busy developing a Kara Tara website. So watch the space. And then, you know, you can get it in Joburg. We have a few shops here in Stellenbosch that sells it, retail shops. And yeah, like I said, the focus is actually the US. So I want to show the people from the US a little bit of South African Pinot. So yeah, we're working on distributing it through all the states in the States.
I love it. I'm looking at it right now, and I definitely love the label. And has it already, and it comes from one of my favorite regions for Pinot, Elgin, or Elgin, however you say it, Elgin or Elgin. So I'm super excited about that. Has it shipped to the States already? So like if you're in the States, they can go and they can look for this. Let me see, I'm just gonna click on internet.
Yes, it has. Look, I think it's already in Texas. I've been working with it in Virginia, in Florida. There's some of it in California. So yeah, I'm really happy and fortunate that it is already in the United States. And you know, I just want to make it bigger and get the distribution to ship to Atlanta and all over.
Okay, so we are gonna make that happen. You know what? I have a specialty in that. I'm just gonna put the word out there so people can go request it. I'm actually gonna put this in the Facebook comments right now. So if you're watching this video, you can just go and look up these companies. If you're in the United States, it's Southern Hemisphere Wine Center. You can go to their website and you can find out where you can actually buy it. And if you're in Europe, you can go to Taste Africa, go to their website, and then you can find out where to buy it. And if you're in the UK, Museum Wines. So those are the three major markets outside of South Africa. And if you're in South Africa, just call me because we're going to go visit him and we're going to go taste
Yeah, like
up close and in person. So yeah.
the new representative, yeah. And actually in the US, we work with Vineyard Brands. So yeah, really good company. Excited to work with them. So yeah, if you want to hit Vineyard Brands up in the US, please do.
What is it called? It's called Vineyard Brands?
Vineyard Brands, yes.
I'm gonna call them right now. I'm gonna call them as soon as we get off this phone. I'm gonna send them an email. Vineyard Brands, all right. In the USA. Perfect. And you know what? And speaking of that, like, a lot of times people will say, because they know South Africa has had such a tough time. I mean, the whole ban on the alcohol, the 3 bans on the alcohol was really tough on the economy, right? It set the winemakers back with your inventory because you guys aren't even able to like really harvest for a full harvest because you have nowhere to store this wine because you haven't been able to move wine. It's like a ripple effect. But if you're in the United States or outside South Africa, or even if you're inside South Africa and you want to find out what's the best way, what's the quickest way to give the economy a good boost, is to buy South African wines. I mean, it's not only that you're giving the economy a good boost, you're actually getting really great wines for a really great value. And that's something that I struggle with all the time, to explain to people the value that they're getting with South African wines, right? Because they're delicious. And most of the wine farms, like when you talk about biodynamic or you talk about organic, even though they're not certified in all of this, naturally, like the farming practices are so good to the earth. So you're getting really well wines. So can you talk about like, what would your message be to the world about South African wines? Like,
yeah, look, just something from Stark Conde, which I didn't mention, is that we've been farming Stark Conde, all the vineyards, for 3 years organically now. 2022 is going to be our fully certified organic harvest. So yeah, really excited about that. And yeah, South Africa, you know, personally, I think South Africa is producing some of the best wines this country has ever made. We have some rock star winemakers. Some young influence now in the industry that's trying different things, experimenting, making crazy good wines. And I think the story out there is, yes, it offers great value. I think you can get really good examples of cultivars that you can get from $3 right up to $15 to $20, and it can compete on a global scale. I think South Africa, you know, I want to shout to the world that South Africa should probably be one of the top wine destinations in this world as to offer at the moment.
I will shout with you. I will shout with you just because I'm telling you, wine country is beautiful on top of all of that, right?
Yeah. You know, for me, what's special in South Africa is like, I was born here, but there's so many places here in South Africa that I haven't seen yet. It's crazy. There's beautiful places that we have so much diversity in flora and fauna that it's crazy amazing. Some of the oldest soils in the world, and that's why these vineyards are performing so great now. And like you said, like South Africa, we've come from 3 lockdowns, you know, making something into a positive. We're used to that hardship through the decades, and I think that's why the wine industry is so important, is for people just to relax, have a glass of wine, and just start your day over at the end of the day.
Yes, I loved it. I'm super excited. I agree with you 100%. Come to South Africa. I mean, and what I like too about South Africa, it's so approachable. Like, there's so many winemakers like yourself that are just so approachable. If you call up a wine farm and you say, hey, listen, I'm coming. Is the winemaker going to be there on this day? Can you let them know I'm coming? I'd like to have a conversation. More than likely, if that winemaker is on property, they're going to say yes, and they're going to come have a conversation with you. And then they're just so passionate about the whole process, about the earth and the land. So I'm excited. I'm happy that South Africa has accepted me into the wine world, and I'm a part of the culture, but it's just a very beautiful place to be.
Yeah, no, everything that you said there, it's so true. People are excited about, you know, the earth, the soil, the vineyards, but you should be more excited about, you know, the alcoholic product at the end of the day. Look, at school, I I never loved art, but yeah, I mean, so making wine and experiencing wine and food is such a great art piece, right? So yeah, it's something of passion. And I would actually like to just show it to all the people that haven't tried wine yet, to just enjoy it and use it responsibly. And yeah, I think when my roots is, you know, stationed in the whole industry, I'd like to give back and develop and help other people and younger kids, and just to see what the industry holds and what's special about this whole thing.
Nice. It's been so great talking to you. Do you have any other thing that you want to tell anybody about Stark Conde, about Kara Tara? Do you have any other comments?
Yeah, so I think, like you said, if you're in South Africa, give me a call, give me a shout out. I'm more than willing to sit down with you, have a good glass of wine, have a laugh, tell you about my experiences. I hope that you can tell me about your experiences, and that's what it's all about. So yeah, come out to South Africa, come and support the industry, help our economy. It's really fun here, it's really beautiful. Yeah, that's all I want to say at the end of the day.
I'm super proud. I am like super proud. I love it. All right. So if you want to find out more about Rudger, you can go to the Stark Conde website. You can read all about the beautiful wines that he makes. You can find him on Instagram, Facebook, Instagram and Facebook, or your Instagram and Facebook.
Facebook, yes.
Facebook.
With the LinkedIn, you know, the whole social.
The whole thing. So just look him up. I'll put his name in the comments so that you have the right spelling. You can look up Stark Conde. Again, I'm definitely going to go out there. I'm definitely going to take some people out there with me. So you can always call me up and say, yo, Tuanni, I want to roll. And if you're in the States, if you're in America and you'd like to host a wine tasting using their wines, just go to the store, buy their wines, call me up. I'll grab Rudger and I'll make him come at 2 o'clock in the morning for a tasting, guys. I will have him. His wife will kill me, but yeah, maybe once in a while we could do one big tasting of his wines in the States. But yeah, so go buy the wines. And if you have any questions or any feedbacks, if you have any comments, you can just put them in the chat below. And yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Rudger.
Yeah, thank you for hosting me. Hope to see you soon at the farm.
No, you will definitely see me soon at the farm. So you guys know I'm trying to go wine tasting every single week. And you know, the ban stopped all that, but now that the ban is lifted, I'm back on track. So I will see you soon.
Great. See you then. Bring a whole group.
You know I will. That's how I roll. I always have an entourage of wine tasters with me. So yes, I will definitely.
Yeah, great.
I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. See you. Bye-bye.